because we drive off of what we don't want versus what we do want. And when you're consistently looking for what you don't want, that is what you're going to keep attracting. We attract who we are, not what we want. Welcome to his.
There we go. And her perspective.
How are y'all doing here at his and her perspective? We find common ground by harmonizing relationships, and we do that by having these talks with you all, coming on and talking about the hottest conversations and topics that we possibly can find, because we know what people are talking about because we're coaches. Right? So listen, right, all facts. Today, we are talking about good men and good women. Where are they? Right? We hear that. Do you hear that a lot with your clients, Vaun?
I do. And so many people seem to think that they're the best catch available, that they're the last representation of what's good and remaining in the world, and it's not very realistic.
Yeah, it's not. So we're going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about it and get down dirty with it. Yeah. We want to make sure that, first of all, that y'all are sharing, subscribing, and saying something. If you're looking at us right now, make sure you just click the share button. Forget about it. It won't cost you anything. It won't do any harm to you, but it could help somebody that is on your page, as well as you might want to go back and just click on your page and watch it again because it's so hot, right? So just make sure that you do that, because it's just the right thing to do. Right. Also make sure that you are engaging with us. Don't just look at us. Say hello. Haven't your mama ever told you when you come in the room, there's people in the room, that you say hello?
That's right. Right.
That's right. Engage. Say something to us. So listen, before we move forward, we always talk about what's in our cups. So what's in your cup?
Today, I'm going back old school with it, and I'm drinking good old-fashioned coffee, straight black, no chaser, no cream.
All right, man. You kind of rubbed off on you a little bit, huh?
Well, sometimes I need a little bit of an extra boost, and I don't really have a whole lot of time to play with it. So today is one of them days. I got a lot to do. It's been a busy day, and so coffee it is. How about you? What you got?
You know what? I feel a little dehydrated, so I'm drinking some H2O. It's simple. And I don't like water, honestly. I do drink it because I have to get at least half of my body weight in a day. I do drink it. But because I don't like the taste of it, if I'm not drinking it out of a bottle, it won't get drank. So I have to drink it out the bottle. Usually I gulp it down, but since we're here, I'm gonna act like a lady and sip on it a little bit when I need it.
Yeah. I can dig it.
So listen, we need to just go. Let's get on in this today, because this is going to be good. I'm excited about today's talk because this is something that is being said so often, that it's not enough good men. It's not enough good women out there. Or why don't women recognize a good man, or why don't men recognize a good woman? So it's kind of on both sides. So one of the things I wanted to start with, Vaun, is I would like the people to tell us in the comment section as we're talking, tell us what is a good man or a good woman to you. Tell us, what does that mean? Because it's a little subjective. Would you agree?
I do, absolutely do. One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Yeah.
And it's never all good.
Right.
What's good for me, what I might find to be good qualities in a woman You know, the next guy might think that, you know, maybe she's lame or just not good enough. So yeah, it's definitely subjective.
Yeah. So
Let's say hello to a few of the people that we got. Ramonda West. Hey, Ramonda West.
hello.
Hello, Angela Rains.
Hey, Angela.
Gary Holloway, Kyle Washington, Jamesia, Karen Holloway, Rosha Chandler, Stacy Wesley, Lakia Adger, Brenda Wallace, Dwan, Latrice Brown, Sean Williams, James Bennett, and Tanisha Pert.
And Desi's over here on this side. Y'all need to start coming over to our business pages, because the more you're on our business pages, one, the more we get to be seen, because you know those algorithms that Facebook and all that has. So if you could start to move over to there the next time, so that we can see your comments, one, so that we can see the engagement. As well as it helps us with the algorithm so that we can have more people seeing our stuff. Right. Over on my side, I got, hold on, I'm trying to clear. So I got, Lord have mercy, Arinthio Scott. I got Cordell Watkins. I got Jenna Holtz over on this side. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for joining us today. I should have had my glasses on. Y'all know I'm getting a little old, but it's all right.
Better than none, right?
That's all right. So thank you all for joining us. Listen. Let's get into it. So Angela says, after Nyamith Going said good morning to us, Ramonda says hello, and Desi says hello. Angela says hello. And Angela says that a good man is attentive, reliable, understanding, and consistent.
Better sign up, right? Yep.
That's all right. Uh-oh. We doing a watch party over there?
Yeah, I think that was me leading through.
That's all right. At least it's us, right? Yeah. It's not somebody else's show coming in on our stuff. It's good. So listen, I think that that's really good, attentive, reliable, understanding, and consistent, because I think that may be, what do you all think? Do you think that that's kind of consistent with some of the things that you all think? What do you think, Vaun?
Yeah, and even those things are subjective and relative, because, you know, what one person might consider to be attentive, another person might consider to be clingy.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's all within the it's all relative, you know, and what happens to be, I use this word a lot, I know, what all happens to be harmonious within, you know, each unique relationship. So yeah, but as a foundation, those are definitely some key components. Absolutely.
I think that one of the things that we have to really point out, and we talked about the whole thing being subjective, because it is. It really depends on who we are and what we're looking for and what our expectations are. Because we know that our expectations are different from our friends, from our family. Even if we were, you know, we kind of have, you know, things that were taught to us generationally, we're still not doing things or expecting relationships the same way our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers did. So those expectations didn't get kind of taken down into this generation. Especially like the millennials are not like us. You know, what are we, generation? What do they call us?
Man, don't make me lie. I get it mixed up.
I forget. I don't know if we generation X, I don't know, X or something like that. Anyway, but
I think we are generation X.
Generation X, I think that's what we are. So, you know, back in the day, you know, the man was the breadwinner. So nowadays, women got their own money. So there's no need for her to look for that in him sometimes, right? Because you have women who feel like they're just so independent, they don't need that. But my thing is, Desi said, yes, we're Generation X.
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you, Desi, for that. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that that kind of restrict what our real, what we really think good is. And that's because we're basing it off of certain things versus the character of the relationship that we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, just to your point about how things are very different. The relationship roles were much more clearly defined when our grandparents were coming up, and so women did what women did, men did what men did, and so that part of it, we knew what women needed men for, and what and vice versa. And now, like you said, you know, the lines are a little bit more blurred because women are showing up with their own money
Right.
oftentimes, with their own house oftentimes, but that does not change the primal needs that we have for one another. And so I think oftentimes the roles can get misunderstood
Yes.
because, you know, these days it seems that a lot of men think that the primary thing we need women for is sex, and a lot of women think the primary thing that they need men for is money.
Right.
Um, and even though it's inclusive of those things, it's still so much more to it than just that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, with all the equality that people are looking for, you know, I mean, you even have some of the men say, well, she got to do 50-50, or if she can't bring 50-50 to the table, then she's not a good woman for me. Or the women saying, well, shoot, if he's not taking care of me, then he's not a good man. So again, it just really those lines are so blurred. It really depends on who we are as a person. Karen
Right.
says the yang to my yin.
That's
I
right.
totally agree.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
one of the things that that I really want to dispel is that people are so much looking for people to be so much like them. And if there is no dissonance meaning there's a contrast between the two people. If there's not a contrast between you, then there's no expansion for no room for expansion for growth. So if you don't have somebody pulling at you, challenging you, and I'm not saying the challenging as in it makes you feel bad. It makes you feel less than. It makes you feel not confident. It makes you feel fear and doubt and things of that sort. But I'm talking about somebody that challenges your limits to the point to where you are growing. And when we think of, you know, some people are thinking of a good man or a good woman, somebody that's always agreeing with them.
Mm,
No, you should look for that person that's going to question, that's going to pull, that's going to make you expand. Because without dissonance, that won't happen.
yeah. Yeah. And you know, a lot of times, and this is more prevalent with women, but you know, men are not excluded from this idea of having a list. We have these lists that we expect someone to show up and check all these different boxes,
Yeah.
right? And so oftentimes when you break down what that list is, where let's say a woman might say, I want a good man, and a good man, you know, he needs to be, you know, 6 foot plus. He needs to make, you know, six figures. He needs to have all these different, whatever their list might be. I think we mentioned this in one of the previous shows. You know, by the time you're done analyzing what's on that list, you're talking about maybe 1% of the men on the entire planet. And
Right.
that's before you start calculating. Look, only 3% of the men on the entire planet are 6'2" and above. And so if your idea of a good man, there go my air quotes again, y'all. If your if your idea of a good man is 6'2" and above, you're talking about 3% of the men on the entire planet. That's excluding, that's not taking into account the men who are unavailable to you for various reasons. So let's just say, for instance, that you want a black man. Okay, well, what percentage of that 3% is black? And then what percentage of that 3% ain't already taken? And then what percentage of that remaining percentage would even want you? Right? Because oftentimes when we look at this list and we say we want a guy that, or we want a woman that shows up with this list of qualities,
Right.
what is it that we're bringing to the table that would make that person say, hey, you know what? I want you too.
Right.
And I think if more of us were honest with ourselves about what that actually means and give ourselves a grade on the scale of 1 to 10, like we know what a dime piece is, that's a perfect 10, right? Most of us are a lot closer to that average range,
Right.
you know, and I think if we did a more accurate self-assessment of this of what we bring to the table, it might humble us a little bit. And,
Right.
And in that self-humbling process, you might find that there are a lot more people available to you than you originally thought.
Really, you should. And so that even brings me to most of the things that Vaun and I do. We look for people. We look for, when we're dealing with couples and things of that sort, we're looking for how you match up on paper, for lack of better terms. Would you be in agreement with that? Am I speaking too much for you?
No, you did.
Okay. So it's more on paper, meaning that's what's going to, it's like, have you ever heard the term, if it ain't black and white, it don't believe it? So if it's not on the paper, everything else can kind of go away. You know, he can go from 6'3" to 4'5" something because he in a wheelchair. He can go from, you know, stocky muscles and things of that sort because he got cancer, or he had diabetes, or any of these types of things, and his body changed. So we have to learn to do and choose our mates based off of character things in how we want to live, what we want in our lives, how we want our lives to be productive and produce what we're looking for. And all of of course we want somebody that's attractive, but I promise you, if you have somebody that is on the same page as you, y'all are doing it, you're going to find some attraction there. And it's going to be a deeper attraction than just this out surface thing. And don't get me wrong, I understand that the men are visual and we're visual too, but we still need to start doing some things outside of that so that we can really have longevity in our relationships. We got some comments over here. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Mr. Scott, Orenthio Scott. He says surveys show that female CEOs would rather spend time with their families than with the corporate world. I'm trying to see what else he's saying. An alpha male only presents himself when there is a lack of leadership among men, but never with his wife. Huh.
Read that. How does that go? I can't see that comment.
Yeah, that's all because it's on my page. Alpha male only presents himself when there is lack of leadership among men, but never with his wife. I don't know what he means by that. I need you to explain it a little bit, Orenthio.
Yeah,
because I'm a little confused on that one.
Yeah, that's and even the idea of alpha males. I made a post today about, you know, what it means to be an alpha male. Y'all know I'm an Animal Planet junkie.
Right.
And I watch the behavior of how animals interact with each other. And there's no such thing as an alpha male who is consistently disharmonious with the females. And there's no such thing as a healthy-minded female who isn't looking to be or looking to position herself to be attracted or attractive to males, healthy males.
Except for in our community.
Except for in our community. I mean, because we have a lot of skewed ideas about what that means to show up. We got guys who consider themselves alpha males just because they can get as quote unquote get as many women as they want, and just so because they can have sex with as many women as they want. But again, if you're just out here having sex with women, particularly if you're breaking hearts and hurting feelings, that's disharmonious. And alpha males don't create discord among their females. I mean,
and the thing is, you know, I love how you use animals. I'm not the whole animal buff and all of those things, but just basically knowing basic information about the king of the jungle. When he comes into the space, he's not rushing in. He's not trying to make anybody convinced that he's there. He's not trying to pull on anything. He's sliding in, chill. And what happens? He's influencing all those other animals around him, and he's commanding attention without all the noise. And when somebody get out of line, he's setting them straight by a couple of looks. And if they continue to get out of line, he coming for them.
It might get a little physical.
Huh?
I said it might get a little physical.
Yeah. You know, but the whole point is he doesn't come in, I am an alpha male, boo, blah, blah, blah. He's not doing any of that. He's coming in and he's commanding that influence that he has naturally, innately in within himself. He's not worried about any other person or other animal in that area unless it's a threat.
Yep.
And I hope that y'all get what I say, unless it's a threat. So meaning that there should be no reason, and I know we kind of moving and we need to get back to the good and bad, but there should be no reason why black men and black women are having an issue with each other, because we're not a threat to each other. The threat comes far outside of us. We're not a threat. Okay, let me get off of that. That can take me into a bunch of things.
This might be another show. But I think, just to the point that you just made, one of the reasons that we're having a large, such a problem with each other is I think that we've adopted ideologies, we've adopted ideas about one another that makes it hard for us to like each other.
Yeah.
You have black men who don't like black women in their most natural state. So to see a black woman with natural hair, just not all extra, whatever you might do to be outside of or in addition to what your natural state is, whether it's weave all down your back or whatever it is, you have a lot of brothers who just simply don't appreciate black womanhood in its raw state. And then conversely, you have black women who feel the same way for different reasons toward black men. And in this society, the value system is structured so that there is a lower level of appreciation for black men and women. There was a brother who just got his law degree. He just graduated law school a couple weeks ago, and he posted on Instagram, I believe it was, and he was saying, hey, I'm the cream of the crop. I'm the prize. He's basically patting himself on the back, saying that, I've separated myself from the average man, and now I'm that dude, basically. And the way the women came for that brother, the way they attacked that brother, I mean, they calling him gay, they called him all kinds of names, and they just came for his head. And I'm not saying that, first of all, there was nothing really factually inaccurate about what he said. I mean, if you're a lawyer or a doctor or any type of professional that requires advanced study, you are among the cream of the crop. There's nothing inaccurate about that. And so you do command a level of you claim you have just commanded the ability to be much more selective from among the women that you want. Now, again, you and I were having this conversation about a week or so ago, where we were talking about what it means to be attractive, for a woman to be attractive in the minds of high value men, right? And if a man has positioned himself, let's say like this lawyer, then he has a pick of whatever it is in his mind as more attractive, and so that's going to separate him from the average man, which allows him to make the type of choices among more premium women. And like it or not, one of the ways that we select women is by beauty, right? So how pretty is she? I don't care. This might hurt.
Most men with that type of background, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, and I am in the top elite of my area, they're looking for arm pieces.
Look, you call it what you want. I guess maybe you can say arm piece, but the bottom line is, you show me a man that's making over $250,000 before he selects his woman, and I challenge you to show me a man that's making that kind of money with a woman beside him who isn't highly regarded as attractive by most other men. Because again, that is just one of the criteria. Now, a lot of people like to say, oh, but what about her heart? I get it, but we ain't looking at her heart when we first meet her. The first thing is what catches our eye. And then, of course, she has to have her character in line and values and all this other stuff. But the first thing is, what do we see?
Yeah, men are visual. I get it. I totally understand that. I just, like we were talking the last time we were talking, I just feel like one, especially in the majority of our community, is that if you are in the top elite or making $200,000, $300,000 in your, as far as income, it's not too many of us in your circle.
Right. Right. But
So
now,
because there's not too many of us in your circle, you almost have to make sure that your arm piece is an arm piece, or you're going to go to the other side.
yeah, and you don't have to necessarily make that much money. You can make you can make $100,000 and separate yourself from as a man, as a black man particularly. You can make $100,000, and that alone will separate you from probably 80% of the other black men in this country. And so that gives you the ability to be a little bit more selective, or a lot more selective. And then one of the things that, we a lot of times women get it twisted, and I think we touched on this a little bit too, but really there's only a few different things that we're looking for from women. So when a man says a good woman, there's a couple different things that we're looking for from her. Is she beautiful? And that's subjective, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I might think of as beautiful, the next guy I might think of as average. But to that man, is she beautiful? Secondly, is she feminine? Soft? Is she a soft landing for when I come home from a hard world, a hard reality? Is she feminine? Is she beautiful? And is she inspirational?
And those are very important.
Yeah, those are very important. So to me, that's what makes a good woman. Now you can add other things in there. Of course, I want my woman to be smart, but I know a lot of smart and pretty women who have a lot of damage and broken hearts in their wake.
Yeah.
Right. And by the same token, just because a man makes $100,000 a year or more doesn't mean that his character is intact.
Right.
It's some brothers out there making a lot of money who might be tall, dark, and handsome, but he got a whole lot of broken hearts in his wake. So, after all of the initial attractors are set, there still has to be some congruence in what it means to be harmonious in the relationship.
Right. Absolutely. And so then that goes into, because those are things that are really important, especially because we have been taught, the 80s have taught us how to be independent, and we don't need nobody. We can have our own, and unless he's doing this and doing that, then we don't need it. But it takes a woman that know how to boss up. But then when she get home, she know how to bring it down, because no man doesn't want you coming in and bossing up at him, unless he's that type of man, and then you the one running the household. But not no alpha man. He ain't want to go for that, right? So this is one of our Periscope watchers, that the good are less because pronounce that
word, oligarchy,
destroys Christian social order. What does that mean?
I'm not sure what that person means by that, and I don't want to. Maybe we can get them Fire Service 777 if you can expound on that a little bit.
What that means. Desi says FBI.
So what she talking about? That's what I just broke down: feminine, beautiful, and inspirational.
Inspirational.
I need my woman to be an FBI agent.
Right? I love it.
Just like women want their men to be a CIA agent. You want your man to be competent, intelligent, and assertive.
Yeah, absolutely. Because without that, you're not going to. He's not coming for you. You're gonna be waiting.
Yeah, and so the reality is, the prettier you are as a woman, the more selective you get to be. And I think that oftentimes women aren't very honest with themselves about what it is that they're bringing to the table. You can't just show up and be pretty and think that, you might be able to attract the guy, but it's much more about attracting him, or it's much more to it than just attracting him. What can you do to keep him there?
Right.
And if you're not feminine, in addition to your beauty, and if you're not inspirational, if you don't have what it takes to make that man feel good in your presence, and I'm not talking about sex, that's a dime a dozen. Every woman came here equipped with a vagina, and ain't nothing magical about yours. Right? All got thing when it comes to that. So are you feminine? Are you beautiful? But are you also inspirational? And if you don't have those three elements, it don't really matter how pretty you are. That relationship has an expiration date on it.
Yeah, it does. Because if you can't make him feel like the man, he gonna find somebody else to make him feel that way.
Yep.
Reminder says, you're right, the Love Alchemist. You will be more selective. We've got, men will be more selective when money is involved from the jump. Very true.
Yeah.
And then she says FBI and CIA, what a wonderful combination. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really necessary. So we talked about why it's a thing. It's a thing because people have their expectations. We're talking about now what it means to be that. I totally agree with Vaun about the things that are necessary: confident, intelligent, and assertive. Because without those things, you're not coming for me and I'm not chasing you, right? And it takes confidence, especially when you are a woman who has done a lot of things in her life, accomplished a lot of things in her life. And many of the sisters that I know have. So they have to kind of wait out for that type of dude to come along. But let's talk about where they at. Where are they?
Let me say this.
Okay, go ahead.
On that post that I made earlier today, there's a brother, real bright brother, Mustafa. Mm-hmm. And he gave me a little bit of pushback on the post, and he was saying that women don't have to do anything; all they have to do is be, and then they're attractive. The right man will come along, et cetera, et cetera. And what I'm saying is, when we're talking about what it means to be a good man, where they at, where the good men, where the good women, they're right under our noses. But oftentimes, these women and these men don't realize that they actually have to actively do something to cultivate themselves in a way to produce healthier versions of themselves. You can't just be, because even
I took that. I saw that, which is why I liked it, because I took it a little differently.
Well, even still, I don't care who you are. You can't just be. If I just be, and I'm not getting up going to work, I'm not reading, I'm not learning, I'm not strengthening myself, exercising my body as well as my mind, as well as my spirit. Or if you as a woman, you aren't doing things that cultivate your femininity, you don't do anything to enhance your etiquette, to become more feminine, like you're gonna attract some people. The question is who?
Yeah. Okay, so this is how I took it. When you're just being, we were created in the image of the creator.
Yep.
That's who we are, period. Whether we act that way and do something about it or not, that's who we are. So if we're being who we are and who we were created to be, then you're going to automatically do something to make sure that your temple is on point. You're going to automatically do something to bring your mind to a state of intelligence, a state of peace, a state of mindfulness. You're going to automatically do the things that are necessary to be a woman and to be a man, because it's innately in us. We have been
But you just said
we
something.
have been taught.
You just said something very important. You said you're going to do something.
Yeah, but being is doing. You don't think that being is doing?
I'm sitting here right now and I'm just being. I can just sit here and breathe.
You're just sitting.
I can just sit here and breathe and be.
But being is being who you are.
But look
how I took it.
Look at where we are right now. You got a lot of people that's being and doing, but it doesn't mean that they're being and doing constructive things. If it was, then we wouldn't be sitting here on this show trying to encourage people to do more than what they've been doing. Because you got a lot of people that's being and doing some very destructive things, showing some very destructive behaviors. So again, that even in our most natural state, even before we were colonized, we had rituals, we had practices. Boys had rites of passage that ushered them into manhood. Women had ceremonial traditions or traditional ceremonies that ushered them into womanhood. You have to do things that allow you to become a better version of what you would otherwise be if you didn't do those things. Otherwise, you got other.
But you're not gonna, if you're not thinking about who you were created as, you're not gonna think of those things.
Who's teaching?
So yes,
people to do that?
Huh?
Who's teaching people to do that?
Not a lot of people. That's why
we got a lot of women out here right now who are, look, right now we live in a society with masculine women and soft men.
Yep.
And they're being.
I don't think they being. I'm telling you, I look at that word as a whole nother thing. You cannot be who you are if you don't know who you are. You just can't be. You have to be. It's kind of like becoming. When you're becoming, you're actually entering into who you were created to be. And that's just, I don't think it's just doing nothing. I think that you have to tap into who you are, who you were created to be, and it's way beyond what you look at every single day and what you think that you're doing because you just woke up. No, that ain't what it is. So I'm in agreement that you have to do something to be, but still, that's how I took the post as far as him saying, just be who you were created to be is what I was saying.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. Again, we can project what we thought he might have meant. What he said, though, it was what he said. And he said,
well, that's her perspective.
Right. He said be. Right. And I'm saying
Desi says being means existence.
Right. And so what do you mean by being is existence? I can just sit here and breathe and exist. I don't have to bother myself to exist.
You just there.
Right. I have to do more than that. I got to do more than just exist and be if I'm going to keep my wife.
You have to do something. I'm not see we're not disagreeing. We're disagreeing on the post, but we're not disagreeing on that you have to do something. Right?
It's okay.
Listen, y'all are witnessing historical moments right here because this is our second disagreement on this show in the last 3 months.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's a healthy disagreement. That's cool.
It is healthy. So we know we need y'all do something. The man said do something. Don't just sit there, okay?
Look, I'm gonna tell you something. There are in this lifestyle that we have right now, it's a much less active lifestyle than the one we had 100 years ago. And so if you don't actively look for ways to, let's say, keep ourselves in shape, right? If you just say, hey, it's gonna pan out how it pans out, and I'm eating the way that I'm eating, and I'm not doing anything to look. A man needs physical exertion, physical challenge in order to cultivate masculine energy, testosterone. If I don't have that physical challenge in my life, if I'm just going to be and exist, then I don't have anything that enhances or cultivates that masculine energy, that testosterone. And so then where is that difference of potential that's necessary in order to keep my woman attracted to me?
There's that contrast. That's the contrast that you need, that's required. So we listen, because we running up on our time. Vicky says, where are they? And that we talked about that. Desi said that. And then Vicky also says this conversation is subjective to the individual. My line of thinking is closely aligned with Coach. Thank you very much. And then Desi laughed at us because we just disagreed on a line.
Look, you and the coach wrong. No.
How you gonna say I'm wrong? This is his and her perspective. Listen, y'all. So look, where are they? The coach Vaun, the Love Alchemist, said they right under your nose. They really are. You just have to get to the point to where you know exactly what you want, because we drive off of what we don't want versus what we do want. And when you're consistently looking for what you don't want, that is what you're going to keep attracting. We attract who we are, not what we want. And that's just that is the pinnacle of the law of attraction. The more we're trying to attract good things in us, and the more doubtful, the more fear, the more naysaying we do, all of those negativity, even if it's just one or two things, and go, well, I want a good man, but is he gonna like me? That's you to step back. But I want a good man that's gonna do this, but do I have enough? You step back. So you have to consistently, it takes a consistent range of positive thinking. It takes a consistent range of positive doing. As Coach Vaun has says, you have to consistently be doing something that is going towards where you want to be in order to get what you're going to get. Otherwise, when you are burdened down with pain, discord, dishonesty about who you are and where you are, when you are bogged down with all the mess and the garbage of things that you've gone through because you've not taken the time to heal, then you just gonna keep attracting the same type of dude, or girl.
And I'll add to that, and I'll say, just as much as it's about attracting, because I think we attract all kinds of people. You know, there are a lot of people that might find you attractive for, you know, a myriad of reasons, right? But you can still be selective about who you allow to stay in your space. Mm-hmm. So you can attract somebody that's not good for you, but do you allow that person that's not good for you? Do you allow them to stay? And no. I think that's a sign of how healthy a person is. You know, also there's not a lot of confidence instilled in us in this society about healthy relationships. And so they're always throwing in our faces. Let me say it a different way. We're always seeing reminders about how bad relationships can go. Like this week, they're talking about Dr. Dre and his wife of 20 years. They're going through a divorce and she's hitting him up for all this alimony. They don't really show us very many examples of the healthy relationships of couples who are actually succeeding, couples who have been together 10, 20 years, couples who've been together since college. You know, Morris Chestnut and his wife, Holly Robinson and Rodney Peete, Angela Bassett and her husband, LL Cool J and his wife, LeBron James and his wife. Like, you got a lot of couples out here, Denzel Washington and his wife, Mike Vick and his wife. Like, a lot of these couples have been together since their college days and even some of them since their high school days, and they're actually doing well. So there are couples out here that are doing well, that are winning, but they're not given the spotlight because it's not juicy conversation, it's not juicy material. So,
and that's causing our women, you know, because even I was reading an article earlier about how the women are feeling more of the pandemic because of the pressures and everything that's now on them, with not only having to work, having to now homeschool the kids, having to do things they didn't necessarily have to do. So this is why this is really important for us to see the longevity of marriage, so that we can understand that there is some truth to that it's not this fictitious thing that we can't strive and look for, but also to make sure that we have to understand women were not built to do these things. We were built to be feminine. We were built to be a woman. We weren't built to be bossing up. Now we have to, I get it, because I'm a boss too. But I promise you, when that man comes along, submissive will I be, right? And you have to learn how to do that, because if you don't know how to do that after you done came out the conference room and you can't shake off that masculine energy. That masculine energy has to be shaken off and left at the door. Because if you think that you're going to bring that to the table with a man, a real man, you're done.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I know we wrapping up. We wrapping up, y'all.
Yeah, we got to wrap up a little bit early today. We do have some other arrangements that we have to tend to, but you know, I love this conversation, and I think we're going to have to go even a little further into it. You know, just with issues like hypergamy, you know, scenarios where men are actually doing what it takes to provide for a woman to be at home and take care of children. Yeah. Now, I know that not all women want that. But then you also have another side where there are a lot of women who want that, but their family structure is not set up. Their family scenario is not set up where where they're able to.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I got a message saying that we don't have to get off. We can keep going. So my scenario has just changed a little bit. So let's keep it going, man. I'm enjoying this conversation.
All right. You know what? And then kind of piggyback off what you just said, Vaun, you'd be surprised, as you know, I talk to women daily interviewing them for different things that we're doing. And they are wanting to, I mean, these are boss women. These are women that are traveling the country, even abroad, speaking to hundreds and hundreds of people and thousands of people. These are women who are at the top part of their career. And they're like, man, I just want a dude to come in and be like, you need to just leave it alone, you know. So it's like, but she has to know the reason why it's difficult for a woman to take the authority, for lack of better terms, of that man that's supposed to be the good man to come in is because of the lack of trust. So if she can't trust that he's got her back and that he's not trying to control and put his foot on her, then she's going to be submissive. She's going to automatically slide on in. Okay, baby.
Automatically, you think?
If she know that man got her, yeah.
You know, and I think under in a more natural environment, maybe I don't know. You know, that's tough because I need to think about that when I get back to you. But
let us know, ladies, what y'all think. Y'all think that if a dude came in and was, you know, had to check you a little bit, and you normally that alpha female, because many of us Black women are, especially if we've been single mothers one time or another, and he came in and checked you, but he wasn't trying to put his foot on your neck, what you think? Would you be like, okay, baby, I got you? All right. Vicky says agreed.
All right.
I think Bessie says agreed about something else, so I ain't gonna put that one up because I think she was agreeing about something you were saying earlier. But Desi says it's hard for some women to give. I don't know, honey.
You know, and that's the direction I was going to go in because you know, here's one of the differences, one of the major differences between Black women and non-Black women. Okay, so the average age of marriage for Black women is right around 30, 31.
Mm-hmm.
The average age of marriage for non-Black women, white, Hispanic or Latino, Asian, is right around 21 to 23.
Yes.
One of the reasons for that, this isn't a fault of Black women. This is actually a product of what has happened to the Black family structure. So one of the things that has happened is Black women are going to college preparing to first be able to take care of themselves. So their degree and being able to take care of themselves is job one. And then finding a man, getting married, all of that stuff is maybe down the line once they settle down. Many Black women are dealing with this dynamic. Right. But non-Black women, many of them are going to school majoring in not their bachelor's degree or their PhD. They're majoring in MRS, right? They're looking to find a husband as plan A, and their degree is their backup plan.
Yeah. Yep.
See? And so these women at the height of their feminine beauty, height of their feminine value, if you want to call it that, you know, their attractiveness, age 21 to 23, these women are in there looking to market themselves accordingly, and they're snatching guys up. And a lot of non-Black women are studying Black men so that they can learn what it means to come in and take and compete with you for your own man. Now, you don't have the same training to compete for their men, for non-Black men, in the same way that non-Black women are preparing themselves to compete for your man. My daughter was a waitress at a high-end restaurant down here in Savannah, and she used to give. She was the waitress for a lot of these femininity training parties. They would be bringing in large groups of non-Black young females, training them on etiquette, training them on femininity. We don't have that in mass the way a lot of these groups do. And you have women that are targeting your men. So Black women are going to have to boss up in that way and what it means to bring more femininity, FBI, feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. Yes. We're going to have to do that. And by the same token, our men are going to have to boss up and become much more competent, intelligent, and assertive.
Yes. And the thing, you know, so I agree in the sense where Desi says it's hard for some women to give up control, but I think that they want to. I just don't think that they know how to. And that's one of the issues that we're having. You know, like, you know, Vaun's talking about, I launched a program called Marriage Materials 2 years ago, and women are like, not trying to get in it because they feel like they know it all. But my thing is this, and I keep telling my clients this all the time. If you've been doing the same thing for all these times, all these years, and you have not accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, then you need to try something different.
Yep.
Because it's not going to allow you to get the man that you think that you're going to be able to get until you learn how to be marriage material. And
Yep.
I know how to get wifed up. Y'all know my story, right?
Tell us a little bit about that.
Girl, about this marriage material so that y'all can learn how to be with y'all man for 30 years like Desi has been with hers.
Tell me what you mean when you say.
I'm saying.
Tell me what you mean. Tell us what you mean when you say you know how to get wifed up. What does that mean?
You want me to go about the details of what you want? Because
you say you know what it means to be
with 2 carats or more.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
I've been proposed to on bended knee 6 times with nothing less than 2 carats or more.
That's what's up.
So I know what that means. I know that you don't get to go in and trying to control some dude, trying to think that that's going to work. Or all these things that we have these videos out talking about, you need to come up in there, be like the BITCH. You need to do this and you know to get the coins. And no, honey, that's going to get you. That's going to get you WAP. That's going to get you. It's not going to get you wifed up.
And real rap, there are a lot of people, particularly women, because as women advance in age, it becomes more challenging to find a mate. And there are a lot of people who do such an inaccurate job, a poor job of assessing themselves, that the reality is you're gonna die alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you have a lot of women who think that the grass is green on the other side, and they're leaving their relationship because their dude is average.
And you're looking for something depth. I mean, like I've heard people say things like, "Oh, we just outgrew each other." How do you do that? Because if you've outgrown your man, one, let me just throw this out here, and I might get this night. I don't know if this girl code or what, but women typically don't leave unless they got some incentive, right? They don't just pick up and go, "I'm done with him. I've outgrown him. I'm out." No, that's because she didn't taste a little of the forbidden fruit somewhere else. And so it made her get a little liquid courage so that she can now leave what she has outgrown. That's real talk. So, but if you don't want to be in a position where you feel like you've outgrown your partner, then there needs to be some communication happening. Y'all need to be talking about the growth. You shouldn't be outgrowing him without him, because now something's happened. How could you leave him? That's the one of the sciences that we have not been taught, the art of war. You do not, 1, kill your own man. 2, you never leave him in the field. So if your man is you've outgrown him, then somewhere back there you didn't pick him up and say, "Hey baby, come on, let's move." And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that every man's gonna go, because some of them just don't have that drive. But you knew who you was getting with when you got with him. So you know what type of drive he has in the beginning of that process. So then that means that if you know who he is in the beginning, and he's not that assertive man that like Coach Vaun was talking about, then that means that you're gonna have to do a little more nudging. You're gonna have to do a little bit more to do something. All of my husbands were not entrepreneurs, but when I left them, they were.
You upgraded them.
Upgraded, honey. All of them ended up being working for themselves after that. So, I mean, and I'm not, it still was something in them that said, "Hey, I like what she did. I like that fire and that entrepreneurship. Let me know." And I was able to still help. But you just don't leave your man in the field, letting him out to die. Yeah. Find out what that is so that you can both come up together, because I promise you 2 heads are better than 1.
Yep. And it's, it's almost glamorized to, there's really not a whole lot being promoted as far as staying in a healthy relationship, promoting the idea of staying power. You have is wild, but you have, I think, the majority of the relationships that are ended, the divorces, the majority of the divorces are filed for by women.
Yes.
And many times I've heard so many women say that the relationship just got old. They didn't file for divorce because their life or their safety was in jeopardy. They filed because they got tired of the relationship. And you're talking about women with children.
Yeah.
Who just outgrew the man. And so we have a serious cultural problem right now because you got a lot of children that are growing up experiencing inordinate amounts of pain because of the impact that this broken family is having on them.
Yes. And they'll never be able to talk about it because they don't know what that is. They know that they're experiencing some discomfort. They know that they're experiencing some things that they don't like and don't feel good. But it festers for so long that when they finally realize what that is, oh man, my mom and my daddy was dysfunctional. Then now they got years of therapy if they can afford the therapy or the coaching. Or if they even feel like the people that are in their circle are going to root them on and go after that and not look at them like they're weak. So it's so many different things in the dynamic that we have to pay attention to, that this is cyclic. It's this continuously going on and on and on and on. And until we stop and do something about it, and we have to stop now because our community is really dying out. We're not having babies. Millennials are not getting married. What's happening?
Yeah. And that's that's the show in and of itself.
It is.
But we definitely have to do something to reverse the course because like you said, we're not promoting healthy examples of what it means to maintain relationships.
Yeah. So to the last thing, how do you find them? You find them by getting yourself together. You find them by, as Coach Vaun says, being who you want to have in your life. You become that person first and you'll attract that person. But don't think that you can be sitting on the couch doing nothing, as he said earlier, which is, I totally agree. You can't be sitting on the couch thinking he's going to knock at the door. One of the things that we have been taught in the church, minister, prophet, we've been taught in the church that, just wait on the Lord and he's just going to bring it to you. Well, he ain't coming and knock on your door and you ain't doing nothing with your life. Just because you go to work and you make a little bit of money. No, you got to be doing something with your life and being. So the ing is the working part.
Yep. I agree with that.
Thank you.
I agree with that. Look, the Bible tells you, like you say, just to your minister point, faith without work is dead.
Yeah.
And so if you're not showing up for the game, suited and booted, ready to go, if you're just sitting on the sidelines, trying to look cute without doing some work, and you just praying, look, God only hits moving targets. People be praying and asking God to do stuff. God be like, all right, you go first.
Come on.
He gonna meet you. You take a step, then God may take the other step. But as far as you just sitting and praying, it ain't gonna work.
Well, I think he already finished because it said on the 7th day he was done. So on the 7th day he was finished. He waiting for you to catch up.
That's it.
So we don't have to even like I've reached out to some people in regards to, we're coaches with Melanated Match. Y'all know that, with our sponsor. And so I've reached out to some people about different things with the matchmaking and stuff like that we will be doing. And people are like, oh no, I'm waiting for him to come. Well, you gonna keep waiting.
Yeah.
Well, he who finds a wife, we just gonna help you get found. We're not trying to break the code. We're trying to help you use the code to your benefit.
Yeah, you've already been empowered to do that thing. That you've already been empowered to do what you're waiting on God to do.
That's it. Already in you. So we are at our time. As Vicky says, some people are together and they are just closed off because of past experiences. Folks, open up to receive. Yes, you have to. You should be always in receiving mode, because if you are asking, and you walking around like this in defense, what can you get in your hand? You're gonna put something on, it's gonna keep falling off. Open up your hands, be in receiving mode, stay there. You'll get everything that's supposed to come to you.
Indeed.
Any last thoughts, Vaun?
No, I think we wrapped it up pretty good.
This is great. We love y'all. Y'all make sure that y'all share, because sharing is caring. And make sure that you are watching us next week. Tell us what you'd like us to talk about, and we will follow that. Carletta says, amazing format. Love the presentation. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
We love y'all. Talk to y'all later.
Love y'all. Peace.